Hi. Hmm. Question. Do you ask a person, would you mind, with already holding an expectation that that person is going to respond in your favor, in the favor of your request? Do you do that? Think about it. How do we get there? How do we get to that point of thinking that that's okay? Hmm. Implied societal norms of expectation. There's this unspoken thing, especially in relationships where you know somebody really well, or even if you've got good intentions, you still have this expectation that they're just automatically going to say, yeah, sure, or they're just going to go ahead and do the thing, right? Well, I want to ask you to take it a little step further. Make or leave room for an actual verbal response. I'll tell you why. Because there needs to be room for yeses and nos. Because in the event that you receive a yes, you shouldn't automatically expect that that's what's going to be responded. And what would happen if the person says, no, I do mind. I don't want to do that thing, or I don't want to comply with what you're requesting. Then what are you going to do? Be shocked? Probably. Everyone is deserving of their own voice, their autonomy, and their agency. Think about that because we don't think about it. We just automatically assume that because it's our person or it's somebody that we deem close to us or they care about us, that they're automatically going to say, sure, I'll take care of that, or sure, I'll do that. But that's not okay to just automatically have that expectation, right? Consider children. Whether or not children are presented with this concept or this idea of thinking, adults already know that they prefer to have their preferences valued and their wants valued, right? We don't offer that to children. We as adults generally will say, and granted, it has to be applicable to the situation or circumstance. But with children, consider yourself a child. Think about how you are or were as a child. Would you want somebody to present something to you as it's a mandate all the time, even if they're giving it to you, presenting it to you in the form of a question, like they have an option, but you actually take the option away by having the assumption, the expectation that, oh, they're just supposed to do it. They're just supposed to comply. Adults don't like that. So, what can we do to help children experience agency, autonomy, expanding on trusting themselves and knowing what their own voice sounds like when they're presented with something that is a choice, like they have options instead of it being like this underhandedness, if you will, of I'm asking you if you mind doing this or if you mind this thing, but I really don't want you to say you mind. I really have the expectation, like I'm doing this under false pretenses. Think about that for real. The idea that we practice this way of relating with people socially isn't an idea. It's just something that we do. And I want us to begin to consider, to begin thinking about this, okay? So the more we're mindful of this practice, of relating and how we honor ourselves, the better our relationships and our interactions can be with people that we love. I have to ask, are we willing to practice finding out a person's true upfront, what they actually would prefer to do? Do we really want to know? Or is this thing that we are in this like continuation of people pleasing, automatically functioning in the state of, I expect this to happen. I expect them to do it no matter what. This can be an uncomfortable thing, but in a revealing way of how we actually live, right? So the goal is to improve and increase your self-awareness. Okay. Allowing people to show up as they absolutely are, as they absolutely prefer. And then that gives you information. It helps you to know more about who that person is as opposed to making assumptions and holding these expectations, right? So we also get to recognize where we ourselves might be manipulative in our relationships. I'm gonna let that settle for a moment. I know it's uncomfortable. I had to think about this myself because I have children. I have five children. And what I've learned over the years as they've all become adults is there is usually this communication dynamic of hierarchy. And in order for me to know them, not so much as my children, but just as humans, as people that I am interested in and I care about, I really had to ask myself the question of, do I ever give off this sense of I'm here, you're here, and you must do what the here I am says? I'm sure I did, especially in their younger years. But now that they're all grown, it has become so essential for me to look at the way that I've been showing up, not just as a parent or mother, but as a human, as a person. And then it made me question how I've shown up with other people that I have close relationship with. And I realized I don't want to be treated that way. So what about how I'm treating people? It made a big deal to me. So I wanted to say, you know what? Let me be a little more intentional and mindful about waiting, pausing, letting them have an opportunity to respond to me in honesty. I don't want people in my life to react or respond to me out of some sort of hierarchy or some obligatory thing. Um, if there's true love with you and a person that you care about, you're giving them the space to really expand and expound on that love with you. You're giving them an opportunity to show you what they would rather be doing, right? So, those of us that are in sound mind, spirit, and body, we're capable of being in our own power. And so, I suggest existing that way, not just in yourself, but leaving room for the people in your life, in your world, to see that they too can show up that way with you and that it's safe for them to show up that way with you. And then there comes the golden rule. Why not? Doing unto others as we would have others do unto us. Why is that something that we put away? It's supposed to be an implied thing in our society, right? Oh, that's a given. No, it's not. Think about it. Think about your day-to-day relationships, your day-to-day dynamics with people, how you move, how you communicate, how you pause. Do you pause? Do you leave room for actual responses when you ask somebody, hey, hi, how are you? Or are you just saying it as like a rote thing that's happening in passing, like some sort of pleasantry? Do you actually wait to hear what the person has to say, whether or not you want to hear it? But that's the thing. Why are you asking? Be intentional, be mindful about these things. Give the other person the opportunity to show you they're human. You're not the only one who gets that, especially if you are the requester, right? Think about it. All right, so then I'm going to just end this on the note of where things are right now. How important this notion is now, and how much more important it's becoming as we continue the days of all of the things unfolding in the world around us. How much more we're going to rely on and need one another. Haven't we all had enough? of these Jedi mind tricks that currently are in play with the world that we live in, we're kind of like all exposed. Everybody is in this state of rawness, whether you've done something that has been harmful or has contributed to what we're experiencing or not. And that's going to be a whole nother video because I will soon talk to you about the agreements that we have made, not only with ourselves, but the ones that we consistently make by our participation in the ways that we show up. And then how that just kind of has its domino effect on what we experience singularly, individually, and collectively. So I'm going to leave you with this. Make room in your own thoughts, with your own intentions, to let what a person wants to experience be the thing that they show you. If they don't have room because you asked them something and you're looking for a response, are you being manipulative by already having a certain expectation of how they should respond? Can we get rid of the shoulds? Do you have the ability, the capacity? Do you have the personal audacity to remove the shoulds from your experience with the people that you care about, let alone people that you don't know? Because more of that is going to come forward as the days progress. Okay. Not just in the West, but everywhere. And so I offer you the opportunity to be good to yourself and be good to others. Take care.